Hey, all right, so before we start with the rest of the instrumentation on this mix, let's clean up the beginning of the track. There's a little bit of noise. Take a listen. I'm just going to take the beginning, like around there, and I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to pull all the way down. All right, and that should do it. Let's take a listen. So it's a little abrupt on the acoustic. I'll pull that out a little more. Whoops. Just get those where they need to be, and little bit on the kick, since that's going to be the first thing that kicks in. The electric chords, just tweaking it, making sure it's perfecto. All right, let's take a listen. So as you can hear, we got rid of all that noise at the beginning, and you still have that little bit of a pick thing at the beginning. When it comes in, you can hear the pick go across the strings. All right, so by the way, I constantly save Command S, Command S, Command S. I guess if you're on a PC, Control S. Let's bring the keyboards in. It's funny, this song has a lot of tracks. And we're going to do some cool stuff with the vocals as well. Something here, let's take a listen. Oh, cool. So that's another guitar. So let's bring these guitars over to the other guitars. All right, I'm going to put the SSL on this. Again, I like to try and stay consistent with plugins because, I like to feel like I'm mixing with a mixing console. So I can use other plugins as well. I have a bunch of channel strips, but I really think this one sounds great. The Plugin Alliance sounds great too. So, all right, let's take a listen. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to a high shelf EQ now. Let's see what that sounds like. Just a little bit. About 3 kilohertz. And I think that sounds pretty good. I could pull some of the mud out. You know, when I used to mix back in the day on real consoles, this is what it was like. We didn't have that graphic EQ in front of us, and you basically would move knobs and use your ears. And once you learn these frequencies, I recommend, I'm not saying that like the EQs that show you those graphic interfaces aren't good, because they are, but trust your ears, what your ears hear. And another good thing is to reference other mixes that you like and that you think sound good, and try to get your stuff sounding closer to those. All right, let's see what that sounds like in the mix. Mixing, you've heard this before, it's like painting a picture. It's like trying to get all the colors to work together. So far, if you listen to this, you really can hear everything, which is nice. We're getting the frequencies pretty much where we need them to be. All right, now let's check out where this guy is. Let's take a look on the waveform, what that is doing. Okay, so that's coming in, I guess, over here. And let's take a listen to what that is. All right, again, I'm going to use the SSL on this. All right, that sounds pretty good. Let's give it a little delay. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Turn that on. All right, let's take a listen now in the mix. I'll go back a little bit. I will say there is a lot of music in this song. All right, and these levels are going to change. This is just my initial setting, just getting everything to where I kind of want it to sound, but I'm going to obviously balance this even more and more afterwards. Okay, let's check out piano. All right, so there's a lot of low end in that piano. Let's take a listen. Piano. All right, let's see if that works in the track. On this particular track, I am not going to make a bus out of these. I'm just going to link these guys together. So let's add a link to these. Okay. All right, take a listen. I almost pan them hard, but I do it around 80, 86 on this one. Let's take a listen to the track. All right, sounds really nice. Let's see what this guy is. This is the electric last verse. Okay, that's an electric guitar thing going on the last verse. Let's see what that's all about. Oh, it's like a slide. Or some kind of an effect on there. All right, let us add a little FX4 to that. Pan that to the right a little bit. Turn this baby on. Let's see what we got. Well, let's see what it sounds like in the track. All right, and then we have something here called intro guitar. Let's see what that's doing. Well, I can tell already I'm going to want to give it that delay. So let's do a little of that. Let's bring in the SSL. How many times am I going to say that in this video? Let's bring in the SSL. All right, so like I said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of music. When I actually start making moves and doing automation, I'm going to probably strategically move things out or lower, whatever, because it might be too much at certain times. But so far, I'm able to really hear everything, which is good. All right, we have another keyboard track here. Let's hear what this is. All right, so that sounds like an accordion to me. Let's see if we can, you know, they're very aggressive accordions, but let's see what we can do with it. Take some of the harshness off it. As you notice on this track, I pretty much cut a lot of stuff. I think this would work with a little bit of reverb. So let's do a little reverb on this, see what that sounds like. All right, let's gently bring this into the track. I don't know if it needs that. You know, maybe subtly, I wish it were strings, but we have the accordion, so we'll just deal with that, and we'll try to balance that out. All right, we are up to the vocal. A lot of people are like, oh, what's your vocal chain? What's your vocal chain? For me, there is no vocal chain. I kind of like to play around and get something that works for that vocal. Now, I have ideas of what I'll use or what I'll try, but it's not, you know, depending on the vocalist, it's not always the same vocal chain for each mix and for each vocalist. So with that said, let's get over here and let's take a listen. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Now that we're going to start with the vocals, I'm going to make that in the next video.